What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the high-grade Infinite Justice Gundam Type 2 from Gundam Seed Freedom. A modified Infinite Justice Gundam, it was upgraded at the direct request of Kagaliula Atha and participated in the battle against the Kingdom of Foundation after its mission was no longer clandestine in nature. Contrary to popular speculation, this kit is entirely new, except the reused beams, made up of 13 runners, a sticker sheet, and a wire. Build-wise, the construction feels largely similar to the other Seed Freedom Gundams due to the Seed action system, and especially the original Infinite Justice Gundam, combining involved mechanics with a simple assembly. Gate placement is also relatively fine, and while I am surprised to see that the magenta and black aren't as susceptible to stress marks as usual, a lot of polishing needs to be done as they can easily scruff up. Besides that, while the use of small parts is minimal, I find that a few parts like the chest, feet, and backpack require stringent alignment unless they don't fit together well, while parts like the leg beam emitters and wings don't fit on tightly until the parts are fully assembled, adding to the challenge. Though it's also interesting that there are locking mechanisms like in the side skirts and ankle joints. Otherwise, it's a relatively challenging but familiar build compared to the rest of the line. And besides the rather restrictive compatibility with Universal Standard and Seed Action System kits, the body parts are fully reverse compatible with the high-grade Infinite Justice, including the backpack, so the adapters from the high-grade Justice Knights or Injustice weapons are fair game as well. Fully snaps together, and the high-grade Infinite Justice Type 2 sports a very striking look, having perfectly translated the principal details into high-grade form. I really wasn't sure how I would feel about the new head and chest proportions as they look stretched upwards using the free transform image editing tool, but even though I still prefer the older proportions, the sharper sculpting and fantastic part separation make them look great in their own right and accurate to the CGI model, while the styling of the legs being reminiscent of the original Justice is really neat. Though I do miss the original green trims since the accurate color scheme almost feels too monotonous. Beyond those differences though, the slight panel changes between the original and the Type 2 aren't as drastic as the Strike Freedom, but still jump out at you when you put them side by side. Personally, I'm indifferent towards them besides the bare back. Sticker use is limited to the eyes and head sensors with backups in case you lost one or prefer to use the forehead camera with the white trim. And the only missing paint apps are the grey on the head Vulcans, side and back skirt thrusters, and the trims inside all of the thrusters. On top of that, the realistic metallic gloss injection silver on the manipulators, wrist cuffs, and the tops of the knee and elbow joints look way better compared to the standard injection silver. But it is still susceptible to injection swirls and nut marks from the lack of undergating, so it might be better off painted depending on subjective tastes. Apart from that, the only touch-up this kit needs is panel lining, but thanks to the bold colors and fantastic engineering, the high-grade Infinite Justice Gundam Type 2 is perfectly displayable as a straight build. Articulation-wise, the ball and hinge neck joint provide a wide range of unrestricted movement. The shoulder joints can swing forward and up with the independent shoulder armor for the arms to raise perpendicularly, while the shoulders are also ball jointed. There's a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and ball jointed wrists. The abs can extend to crunch widely in all directions, while the waist can rotate all the way. Front skirts can move, side skirts can move up and back, while the hips can fold up to push past the full side splits, besides the normal full front kicks. There's a thigh swivel, a knee tilt, double jointed knees, movable beam emitters, and a ball jointed ankle piece that accommodates the hinged ball jointed ankles that also possess moving toes. Finally, the beam cannons can move while clearing the V-fin, the fuselage can rise up for the high mat mode, while the wings can rotate at the base and wing assembly, and the wings can split and open up. Articulation and rigidity of the high-grade Infinite Justice Type 2 are ridiculously good, essentially taking the original joints, adding a few extras, and tuning it up to 11, all while remaining solid with no parts falling off. Accessories start off with a pair of holding hands and a left open hand, which is again pretty generous. Weapons start with the high-energy beam rifle that sandwiches into the hands for use. Essentially carried over from the original, it possesses pink stickers for the trim, and the movable scope and circles on the body need to be painted in yourself. It can also be plugged onto the back skirt when not in use. Next are the Acuta Lacerta beam sabers stored on the side skirts. Accessible from disassembling the housing, they can be slid into the hands and used with the included beams. or directly couple up for use in the ambidextrous form, with one of the beam emitters spun into position for a more uniform aesthetic. Additionally, the Tonitrus heavy beam cutting leg units can activate with their custom beams to double up the melee. For defense, the carrier beam shield is carried over from the original loadout. Plugged into the forearm for use, it can also rotate or be repositioned behind the arm for adjustment. Besides functioning like a physical shield, a polarized effect part can be sandwiched on top to access the beam shield function. Meanwhile, an included weak and flaccid wire can plug into the housing, and dexterous grapple stinger to reel enemies in for punishment using the Shining Edge Beam Boomerang, activated with its own effect part for direct use in storage, or be detached, angled, and sandwiched into the hand for use as a beam boomerang. The X-Wing Starfighter... Oops. The Volantis backpack houses the beam risers, which can also activate for beam blades using specialized effect parts in slasher mode, providing more melee options besides its suppressive fire with the beam cannons and missile pods on the wings and fuselage. The Volantis can also detach and fly around independently on a separate action base after folding the canopy and beam cannons up and the closed wings down, with the beam risers converted to gun mode. But since there is no parts for a round blue and white 3-wheeler, it's not meant for riding on. Finally, the Speed Stitch Fail's beam horn can activate within effect parts and indecent fantasies to give enemies some head and send them to a humiliating and horny death. The horn can also extend and fold forwards if you're just not feeling quite there yet. Additionally, apart from the leftover beam effects from the Fatum 01, the Gelgook's railgun can be used without trouble, though it cannot be stored on the basket with its own adapter. When the Infinite Justice Type 2 was first leaked, I thought it was lazy and ridiculous because it is essentially the original Infinite Justice with an X-Wing on the back. Fast forward to today, and while the creativity and my melee bias definitely upped my liking for the unit, the kit itself is largely identical and just as recommendable as the original version, especially with how structurally similar they are, except with the reskin. Despite the similarities, the Type 2 does improve upon the original in slight but notable ways, like the realistic metallic gloss injection silver, further part separation, and improved overall articulation. Coupled with the solid rigidity, it gives you the confidence to have fun and push the limits with all the melee poses imaginable with a plethora of beam blades, all with the kit looking sharp with little need for extra effort while doing so. Sure, if you don't like the design or the Infinite Justice period, then this kit probably won't change your mind with a slight redesign and 3 extra blades. Otherwise, it's arguably one of the strongest high-grade Seed Freedom releases, providing a comical yet solid boost to the already strong high-grade Cosmic Era Infinite Justice for the 600 extra yen. And that's all for me. Thank you for watching, drop a like and comment if you did enjoy the video, subscribe for more content like this, and feel free to follow me on social media with the links down below. That said, take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out guys, bye bye.